Hey everyone, my name is Zania, and today we're going to talk about Roderick Strong's debut in AEW, Jade Cargill defending her TBS championship in the match with Taya Valkyrie, the progression of the Four Pillars tournament, and all the other exciting things that happen at Dynamite in Fort Lauderdale and what fans make of it. I just want to preface all of this by saying that it was one hell of a show to cover. As a journalist, you couldn't wish for anything better. Exciting surprises, exciting matches, conclusions of feuds in the case with Jade Cargill and Taya Valkyrie, progression of some rivalries that we've been watching on the edge of our seats for the longest time. Just a great show through and through. So it was amazing to be there. And as per our tradition, we did interview some fans before the show. The fans were super hyped. We're in the beautiful Sunrise, Florida, just a half an hour drive away from Fort Lauderdale, and the doors are about to open. We're here tonight for Dynamite and Rampage. We have Taya Valkyrie taking on Jade Cargill tonight for the TBS Championship. Will she be the one to finally take the title off Jade? We have Bandido challenging Orange Cassidy for the international title tonight. We have Kenny Omega tagging with Konosuke Takeshita. We're gonna hear from Adam Cole. The fans are already buzzing, so let's go ask them some questions. I'm here with
Sandra,
Ali, Mellow Yellow,
and
Harrison, Vito, Jeremy,
and
Joan,
Courtney, and
Ruckus.
you guys look amazing.
Thank you.
Are you excited for the show tonight?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's my first wrestling show.
Oh, it is.
In person. Yeah, I've been watching since I was like 5 years old, and this is my first. I am super excited. I love AEW so much.
We did ask them about the yet another international dream match, or so I see it. Orange Cassidy put his title on the line against Bandido. Bandido has been making more and more appearances in AEW, and that has fallen very much in line with AEW and ROH bringing in more of the lucha style, which we're going to talk about this match in a bit, and I don't think it was a purely lucha showcase from Bandido at all, but I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. But we did ask the fans what they thought of the match, who they thought was gonna win, who they wanted to win. We also have some title matches tonight. We have Orange Cassidy taking on Bandido, defending his international title. Who do you think is gonna win? Who do you want to win?
I love me some Cassidy.
Oh yeah.
Orange Cassidy.
Oh, if some Orange Cassidy fans in the house.
Bandito. It's got a little bit momentum.
Yeah, and we have seen a lot of lucha style in AEW and in ROH lately,
They're moving more to the South American. I think Orange Cassidy will win.
I think Bandido could win in a fight. However, we'll have to see how it plays. But I like Orange Cassidy, but I think he's really technically talented, but I think if you put the two and two together, I think Bandido is a little bit more than Orange Cassidy.
Right now, I'm at a split because I love Bandido and I love Orange Cassidy too. So I'm right now at a full-blown debate right now because I'm kind of slowly rooting for Bandido, even though I love Orange Cassidy. So
Bandido slowly getting near his side.
for the people.
We also did ask the fans about the women's match, about the TBS title match, and even though the consensus seemed to be that people didn't quite believe Taya Valkyrie was going to be the one to finally dethrone Jade, which they ended up being right about that, Taya Valkyrie did get quite some love from the fans. We also have Taya Valkyrie, who also has a lot of lucha influence taken on Jade tonight. Do you think she's going to be the one to finally take the title off Jade?
I hope so. Jade has had it for a long time. She is a good wrestler, but I think it's kind of time to pass the torch down. And I would say if it's going to be to somebody, Valkyrie can definitely do it. I hope Jade takes it.
I think Taya's going to win it.
Interesting to have some divide here going on.
Squash match, Jade. Right now, it's Jade all the way.
Hey, we'll see.
I got for Taya. For the Huera Loca.
That's right.
Yeah,
No, Huera Loca.
Huera Loca.
Always have to do it.
The fans also had some very strong opinions on the Four Pillars tournament, and the Fort Lauderdale fans were very much getting behind Darby Allin in that arrangement, but they were in for a surprise. We also have a match that's a part of the Four Pillar tournament. Who do you think is gonna come out on top? Who's gonna challenge MJF for the title?
I want it to be Darby. I want Darby to kick the living out of him.
That's not very MJF fan of you.
Oh, sorry. We switched, remember? we switched on purpose.
I think Darby Allin versus MJF will be a better match.
And do you think Darby Allin can beat MJF?
I don't think so.
And Darby?
Okay.
I would love to see Darby and MJF. And then I'd love to see him slaughter MJF.
Skateboard guy, Darby Allin.
Darby Allin skateboard.
Who do I want or who do I think?
Or either.
I'm not for my boy Darby, so.
Yeah, I love Darby.
But I don't trust Sammy.
Exactly.
Sammy, I don't trust you.
I don't
trust you, Sammy. I'm swatching you. I'm watching you, Sammy.
There, yes.
You better know. And just like any other crowd, the Fort Lauderdale/Sunrise, Florida crowd was so unique in its own ways. We did meet some fans who have been watching wrestling for decades and who have picked AEW to be their return to go to live shows. Why do you guys love AEW? What makes you come to show?
I've been watching wrestling since I was little. And so these are 3 of my kids. And it's the one thing that we all can get along and do.
We're gonna get the kids on the front.
Yeah. They're at the age where, hanging out with mom is not that cool, but wrestling is the one thing that we can all do. Yes, it's the one thing we all do. And everybody enjoys it.
Well, it's so nice for you guys. So nice that you can do this as a family, and I hope you guys enjoy the show tonight.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
It's my first wrestling match in probably 15 years.
Oh, wow. What made you come to this one specifically?
It was close. So when it's around the corner and it's AEW, I'm going to be in alley.
For me, I've been watching wrestling for almost 30 years, and I feel like the AEW wrestlers, they have that New Japan pro wrestling influence, luchador influence, where they do the high-flying, high-action moves, and that stuff is like my favorite. And they're a little more on the R-rated side, so that's something else that I really enjoy myself, instead of like the PG of some of the other wrestling.
But we also did meet so many MJF fans. Fort Lauderdale seems to love MJF. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but MJF's entrance in Fort Lauderdale was a bit of the Bizarre World feel that we get in Long Island. MJF got some chants, got some cheers. So what's up with you, Fort Lauderdale?
MJF's my guy. We're both in the same tribe.
Oh, you're just taking one presidency.
Yeah.
MJF is my guy too, though, so I don't...
He's going to retain, no matter who it is, Darby or whatever. MJF has got too much. Up a good fight, but MJF. It's got too much momentum. He's better than better than that.
And we know it. Who are your favorites in AEW?
John Moxley.
I like MJF.
Nice. That's the second party of 2 people where one likes MJF and the other likes Moxley. Interesting. So the fans came very prepared. A lot of them brought signs to support their favorites, including MJF. You guys have some cool signs. Look at them.
Mox.
I assume Mox and MJF are your favorites?
You got the old school Dean Ambrose t-shirt.
Nice. We have day 1 Moxley fan.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Gosh.
Good wrestler.
Tonight, Jade fights.
Jaden's gonna fight Saya Valkyrie for the title.
Jade, my girlfriend right beside you. She'll beat you up. That's why, she told me to say that, by the way. And if you want, she's right here, right there. She's just kind of scared of the camera shot. The next one is the kids. Hope they get on TV. Hey, Keandra. Hey, Leon. Hey, Rob.
That's very sweet.
And the last one is, I'm kind of lucky because I was hoping for this. I hope my sign gets on TV, and it did.
Well, close enough. And they were hyped for the show.
The Kenny Omega match, I love Kenny Omega. My favorite is Adam Page, so I'm hoping maybe he sneaks in somehow. I'm not sure. I tried to have an element of surprise, and I didn't read the Rampage card, so we'll see.
The Orange Cassidy match.
Hell yeah.
I gotta say that's probably my favorite too.
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega. Who doesn't have a crush on Kenny Omega? As far as we know, Moxley hasn't been announced for the show tonight.
I think he's going to be here.
Oh, he's gonna show up.
Shh, don't tell anybody. I heard a rumor, but I'm not sure.
He's coming here to piss someone off.
As he always does.
Yeah, he's going to go through the crowd. I'll try to get him to sign it.
Yeah.
The first person ever.
In blood. In blood.
In real blood.
They will what?
In real.
If it's not in real blood, you're just not gonna accept it. So
No, don't accept.
Kenny and Takeshita is definitely the one
Versus like
for right now.
butchering the blade.
And I'm
they're gonna get their ass kicked.
obviously going.
obviously. Yeah.
Since these guys were probably maybe not gonna see tonight, maybe.
Let's see. I don't know for my guys too.
Oh hell yeah. House of Black.
I know, right? I'm hoping, please.
What do you love AEW? What makes you come to the shows?
I think AEW now is a little bit better than all the other venues. They have a little bit better talent, wrestling-wise. It's not as child's play.
And our hearts are actually in it.
Yeah, it seems like Tony Khan is...
He knows what he's doing.
From day one with AEW.
For me, is how important the women's division is actually in their brand focuses on the women's division, whereas other brands don't. I also love that the world heavyweight champion doesn't have to be 6'7", 300 pounds. It would be anybody kind of a thing. I love the diversity. I love everything about it.
There's also diversity for me, especially because we need something different, a little bit more violent. We need something more aggressive. I want anything to the line.
None of the CGBS.
No, we're tired of it, especially the predictable shit. If I can say that, sorry if you're a bleep.
You said sorry, think of something.
Yeah.
No.
So soon enough, it was time to head into the venue and see Dynamite and Rampage. And we also did get some ROH tapings. I think it was 2 episodes, and you guys know that I have been on an ROH high lately. This video is not about ROH, no ROH spoilers in this video, but I just do want to say that those episodes were pretty amazing, so check them out on Honor Club. So now let's look at the show itself and on what it brings to AEW's future. So the opener was none other than the international title match, Orange Cassidy versus Bandido. I always love seeing Bandido in AEW or elsewhere, but in AEW specifically, we know that he doesn't reside in the United States and he chose to be closer to his family, so that's why we don't see as much of him, which is a super valid reason to not perform as much in the United States. But that was a match that I was definitely the most excited about, and boy did it deliver. And that's kind of what I was talking about when I mentioned how even though Bandido is quite obviously a luchador, that wasn't quite a lucha style match on Bandido's part even. The way that Bandido showcased himself as an all-rounder in this match is insane. Of course, we did see some high-flying maneuvers, we did see some classic lucha style, but we also did see so many showcase of power on Bandido's part. He really was in the powerhouse role at a lot of points in that match. And then we also did see some submissions, some very intricate, very innovative submissions from Bandido. So if anything, if you are not even a fan of lucha style, which I don't quite get that, but you do you would still love this match. And what is this if not a reason to be at least curious about Bandido, regardless of what wrestling style you prefer? And also, we all know and love Orange Cassidy kicks, but in this match we got some Orange Cassidy chops, which was pretty awesome. Orange Cassidy is also expanding and embracing different styles. Love to see that. Orange Cassidy defended the title successfully, but we did see a great show of sportsmanship, or even maybe beyond that, friendship from both wrestlers, even though the match itself was very intense and Bandido definitely got some heat from the fans for how ruthlessly he was going at Orange Cassidy, but ultimately it all ended in them forming an alliance, which is a very interesting team, honestly. And I do feel like there's some sort of synergy in there. I keep saying that there's few things that I dislike more than thrown together tag teams, and we do know that Orange Cassidy does have best friends in his corner, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, and it always rubs me the wrong way a little bit when he kind of strays away from that. Plus, we did see him tagged with Denhausen very recently, which I'm a big fan of this tag team. But weirdly, Orange Cassidy and Bandido just works really well. Love to see it. Then we had Jarrett take on the one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, FTR, Dax Harwood. And that was definitely a huge juxtaposition of approaches and on how those units / those wrestlers view their matches and want to approach their matches, because Jeff Jarrett, of course, had this whole entourage, set them saying Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, all in his corner, always there to support him, or even more than support him. Let's be honest, let's be real, to help him cheat. And Dax Harwood didn't even have Cash Wheeler in his corner. Dax Harwood really took on the challenge like a real man that he is. And we did see throughout the match Dax Harwood resort to top rope maneuvers, resort to things that maybe we're used to FTR denouncing a little bit. We know the no flips, just fists philosophy, but if you take either of them to their limit, they're gonna bust out the moves that you don't expect to see from them. But ultimately, unfortunately, through his evil, unfair ways, Jeff Jarrett did pin Dax Harwood, which then resulted in the match on Rampage, where Jay Lethal took on Cash Wheeler, and then we had the special commissioner, special judge, in Mark Briscoe, because someone has got to stop the endless cheating on the part of that faction, which, spoiler alert, again, did not quite work, even with a special commissioner. So FTR are definitely building a sense of justice, at least, I would say, against this faction. So I'd love to see where that goes. And I'd love to see FTR eventually, finally, get another chance and get their vengeance. Next on the card, we had Wardlow take on Ariel Levy. Very quickly destroy his opponent. Of course, Wardlow is in his prime. Wardlow is the powerhouse of AEW, the TNT champion. And I've said that before, but I'll say it again, that Wardlow championship reigns have, unfortunately, historically been cut short and been maybe a little underwhelming. So hopefully going into that show, going into that match, I was hoping for something good, something big to happen for Wardlow, and it did. After the match, we had Christian Cage and Luchasaurus come down the ramp and stare down Wardlow, not quite do anything else. Christian did look for a second like he was going to step into the ring, and Luchasaurus did look for a second like Christian had to really pull him away, like Luchasaurus was really looking for a fight, as he usually is. Again, another super powerful, vicious powerhouse in AEW, but a physical confrontation didn't happen, though a message has been sent. Christian definitely has his eye on Wardlow, and I really did love that moment, and it really did feel big. It really did feel important. It really did feel like something is gonna build up, something's gonna happen around the TNT title, and I couldn't be happier about that. Then we had the finals of the 4-pillar tournament match, Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, of course, literally, figuratively, in his clothes and his scarf, had MJF in his corner, and honestly, at first, I didn't really find the 4-pillars tournament that exciting, but the strange friendship that has formed between MJF and Sammy Guevara has definitely had me intrigued. Like, obviously, we don't expect anything good. We don't expect anything genuine from MJF ever. But what's Sammy Guevara's dog in this fight, you know? How does it benefit Sammy Guevara to be friends with MJF, which I know it did benefit him in terms of winning the matches in the tournament, but now eventually he's going to have to face MJF for the main title, unless MJF and Sammy Guevara lose the tag team match against Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Darby Allin, because Tony Khan, of course, saw that the match was won by Sammy Guevara not quite fairly, so he had to add an extra step, which is very, very fair and very wise decision on Mr. Tony Khan's part. But we did see already some cracks in the MJF-Sammy Guevara friendship, and on Rampage we did see Sammy Guevara's wife, Ty Mello, confront him about it, which, again, very fair points have been made. Sammy Guevara is closer than ever to being the world heavyweight champion, to becoming something that he's dreamt of becoming his entire life. And it can all be compromised, it can all be at risk just because MJF is trying to get so close to him. So I'm honestly very, very excited to see where that goes. The match itself was, of course, amazing. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara are both, no matter what you think of their character, amazing, amazing ring performers. And one thing that you can't take away from Sammy Guevara is that he never backs away from a dangerous, scary spot. We saw table spot to the outside. Darby Allin is definitely one of the absolute fearless wrestlers in the scene. So if you did want to see two men just absolutely hurl themselves at each other with no fear of physical harm, this is definitely a match for you. Then we had Adam Cole call out Chris Jericho after the vicious beating that Chris Jericho and his sidekicks delivered to Britt Baker. Adam Cole's girlfriend, of course. So Adam Cole was very righteously angry, and Chris Jericho didn't even show up. Chris Jericho just sent out JS, but Chris Jericho didn't grace us or Adam Cole with his righteous rage, with his presence at all on that show, which is clearly a show of disrespect, and it's clearly only gonna make Adam Cole angrier about that. But what did happen during that segment when JS attempted to assault Adam Cole again, we did see a growing friendship between Orange Cassidy and Bandido again, was Roderick Strong, the Messiah, debuted in AEW, which is absolutely fantastic. By a lot of accounts that I've heard, a lot of people consider Roderick Strong the best technical wrestler in the world. His wife Marina Shafir is in the company, so it only makes sense for him to be there. And we did see a very, very heartfelt moment of Adam Cole and Roderick Strong being reunited. Did get some undisputed chants. It is a shame that Kyle O'Reilly is hurt and that Kyle O'Reilly couldn't be there for that moment. Would have been, a very nice, a very sweet reunification, but I'm sure that's yet to come down the road. Or maybe we will see a rivalry brewing that a lot of people have wanted to see for the longest time, since the very first formation of the faction in question. That was tongue twister. But definitely I would love to see Kyle O'Reilly back as soon as possible and see how he fits in this mix. But for now, we're enjoying that Adam Cole now has Roderick Strong in his corner, and I am so looking forward to the matches that Roderick Strong is going to have in AEW. Then we had another match that I definitely was very, very much looking forward to. The TBS Championship match. Jade Cargill, the undefeated, defended it against Taya Valkyrie, La Vera Loca. And I do try to stay as neutral as possible, and you guys know the immense support that they have for pretty much all women's wrestlers, and Jade Cargill is definitely someone that I've always been in absolute awe of, in the way that she presents herself, in the way that she has the star quality that she possesses, in the way that, as far as I know, Kitty Marshall mostly trained her, and the progress that she's made has been absolutely insane when she came in AEW with barely any wrestling background, and she's an absolute superstar now. But if you know me, and if you've been watching my channel for a somewhat long period of time, you know the special place in my brain, in my heart, that they have for Taya Valkyrie. I just think she's absolutely incredible. The mixture of styles that she brings is absolutely insane. A Canadian classic wrestler trained in the realm of Mexican lucha, bringing all that into American TV wrestling with experience of American TV performances, and also with deathmatch experience and with experience of no-ring matches. She is just so incredibly versatile. It is absolutely crazy the kind of performer that Taya Valkyrie is. And she definitely put up a fight. She was definitely probably the most powerful opponent that Jade has faced throughout her title reign, but ultimately Jade did defend her title to the very noticeable frustration of Taya Valkyrie, and she almost did show us some of her dark side, and she attempted to attack the referee, Aubrey Edwards, which thankfully was prevented. No one was hurt. But it was obvious that Taya Valkyrie was kicking herself, that Taya Valkyrie maybe knew that she could have done something differently, or that she could have brought a bigger fight to Jade Cargill. Is this rivalry over? We don't know, but I definitely am looking forward to seeing what other challenges Taya Valkyrie is going to face in AEW. Even in spite of her loss that night, I do believe that Taya Valkyrie is going to be, and already is, an immense force to be reckoned with in the women's division. So I really cannot wait the heights that she reaches in AEW's women's division. And talking about QT Marshall, we did have the QTV segment where we saw that Will Hobbs is very, very frustrated with QT, who promised him everything, who promised him greatness, and yet failed to deliver. QT did promise that, hey, Hobbs, you were champion when we started doing this, and you're going to be champion again. We'll see how QT fulfills that promise, if at all. And then we had the main event, the tag team match. Kenny Omega finally tagging for the first time with Konosuke Takeshita, who Don Callis has successfully recruited to become a part of, well, not maybe necessarily fully the elite yet, but of his faction that he manages and he takes care of. And they were taking on Butcher and the Blade. I do once again, want to stop here and say some nice things about Butcher and the Blade. And of course, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford as well. I have just been digging that faction so much. I think there's so much synergy. They work so well together. The visual is just gorgeous. It's insane. They look amazing as a faction, as a team. And I've always appreciated Butcher and the Blade in terms of in-ring, a very, very ruthless, rough, raw approach, a very distinct style. I just think they're a remarkable tag team and definitely a big challenge for even wrestlers of a caliber of Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita, which is the absolute prime level that a wrestler can be. And especially for them tagging for the first time, we saw some insane tag team chemistry. The match started with lots of quick tag in, tag out, with lots of tag team action, with lots of joint maneuvers, with lots of being aware of each other and being aware of each other's fatigue levels and being aware of each other's position in the ring. It was just incredible to watch. It looked like they had been tagging for 20 years prior to that. It's incredible. And it also speaks of the level of performance that both of these wrestlers are, to where so early on, they found the synergy and they found this connection, they found this rapport, which is just beautiful to watch. And this is exactly what I, and I'm sure any other tag team wrestling lover, loves about tag team wrestling. It's just the 1 + 1 = 3 type of thing. It's the synergy that they create, where together they're better than apart, I guess you could say, which I don't know how much better Kenny Omega can be. But what I'm trying to say is the quality of their tag team wrestling was just absolutely insane, even beyond what was expected. Though Butcher and the Blade, of course, did put up a fight and mostly concentrated on Konosuke Takeshita. I guess maybe they saw him as the weaker link, so they definitely were trying to isolate him, which didn't work out. Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita picked up the win, but what happened next was possibly even more significant than the match itself. We saw Bryan Danielson deliver a promo where he once again was trying to sway Konosuke Takeshita, trying to say that Kenny Omega is tired, but Konosuke Takeshita is a prodigy, and if he aligned himself with BCC instead of the Elite, he would be better off. Though even Bryan Danielson himself did misspeak, and he did say that if you were training with the Elite, then you would be, BCC. So maybe Bryan Danielson does realize that what they're trying to do to Konosuke Takeshita is just pure gaslighting, or maybe it's just the stress of being in a situation where the attack was anticipated, which proceeded to happen, though other members of the Elite, the Young Bucks, of course, came to the rescue. But like I said, so many mind games, Konosuke Takeshita being the good person that he is and not having been immersed in the ruthless rivalry that has been the Elite versus BCC, where all kinds of morals and all kinds of humane qualities just go out the window. He was influenced to try and stop Kenny Omega from disfiguring Jon Moxley, who was being held back by the Young Bucks, which did backfire, and Konosuke Takeshita did become the ultimate target of BCC, was viciously attacked, was escorted out the ring after bleeding, wearing a crimson mask, just covered in blood. And Kenny Omega did deliver a very raw, very emotional speech, pointing out that do fans actually find this entertaining? Do you like that this is happening? There's not going to be any more cool stuff, not going to be any more goodbye, good nights. We're just going to sort this out. This is for real now. Kenny has had enough of the mind games, and this, of course, led to a cage match being announced. Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, nowhere to go. man versus man, no interfering from the outside, no escaping from the inside, just finally getting down to business and finally resolving all this. No mind games, no tricks, just a fight. And I am incredibly excited to see who comes out on top. And this is it for this week's update. Thank you guys so much for watching. Write a comment telling me what was your favorite part of the show, because I do feel like it was an incredible weekly show with a lot of weight and a lot of leads into the future rivalries and into the future events. Give this video a like if you had a good time, subscribe, tap the notification bell to never miss an upload, and until next time, goodbye.